Talk Live. Well, it's Monday, and for some of us, it's a federal holiday. So, if your company, good morning, Bash. Good morning, Mr. Flynn, Katie, Nicole, Londo, Avery. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. It's MLK Day, so some of us are off today, or all the federal offices are closed. Good morning, Lloyd. How's it going? And some of us, this is just another work day for. So let me know if you're new here. Let me know where you're from first. And then let me know if you're off today. If you're off today, thank you for waking up early and joining us here on Morning Coffee Talk Live. I appreciate it. Hey, Gail Ann, good morning. Woo! 12 degrees in Wyoming this morning. Texas actually, I actually have my little heater on here. Texas, actually, it's 32 here this morning in Central Texas, and they're talking about. Now, I think the weather people like to talk about this early in the week because it gets people to watch the weather more closely. We have a local guy here, which is really unusual. We have a local guy here in Pflugerville, and he is a meteorologist. He's a weather guy, but he doesn't work for any of the stations. He posts all his weather forecast on Facebook, and I think he has an that you can download if you prefer his weather app over the local weather. I don't know how well he does, but super nice guy. I've met him a couple of times, and the difference between him and some of the local weather people are the local weather people use 2 or 3 models to predict what the weather's going to do and future forecast. And he uses a lot more models before he makes his forecast. Good morning. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Greg, Peyton, Nicole, Hillbilly 77, Prince, Battle 340, good morning. And so because he uses more models, a lot of times his forecasts are actually more accurate than the local ones. Black Star 567, Mary G.S. And Mr. Monkey, hey, how's it going? Amol Silva 39 joined. Hey, good morning, everybody. If you're driving by, just stop, roll down the window and say, hey. If you're new here, let me know what state you're from. And let me know if you're off today or if this is just a regular work day for you. For years I worked for Marriott International, and MLK Day was not a paid holiday for us. And then just in the last year or two, they stopped paying us for Christmas Eve as a holiday and put in MLK Day. So some people are off for MLK Day, some are not. Whoa, 5 degrees outside in Wisconsin. Windshield temps. Wow, that's crazy. It's this is probably the coldest weather we've had. I don't know what they're talking about next week or this coming week, I guess, Saturday. Friday night and Saturday, they're talking about the weather being in the 20s and possibly some wintry precipitation, which, that could mean sleet and rain and a little bit of ice, or it could mean, I always hate to use that S word, snow, because when I say snow here, it's really like a dusting. And it's always more like sleet and ice that develops on the roads and bridges, but they're talking about the lows in outlying areas here now where it was like 23, 25, but it's dry. So, I mean, it's cold, at least for people here in Texas. But definitely if you live up on the Northeast coast, Midwest, we don't really know what cold is here in Texas, in comparison. Well, I had a little panic yesterday. I thought my coffee maker died. And I don't know what kind of coffee maker everybody else has, but because I was in the coffee business for years and years, I'm a real advocate of Bunn coffee makers. I think one, they're made right here in the U.S., so I liked to support that company, and two, I did business with them for a long time, and so they're a great company to do business with. And I would say when I was on my own business, they were probably one of my first vendors that were really helpful and flexible. So anyway, I have a Bunn coffee maker, and the one I've got now is probably 10 years old. And so it's probably time to replace it. The optimal brew temperature for coffee is between 195 and 205 degrees to maximize the extraction of the coffee. So for some reason yesterday, as soon as I got through brewing the coffee, I could just look at it and say, that came out weak. I wonder why. Good morning, Samuel, Vicky, user 1211, Law Minyard, Moin God. Good morning, everybody. So anyway, it was crazy. Hey, Kim, good morning over here on YouTube. Just a quick reminder, don't forget to like, share, follow, all that fun stuff. But anyway, so I thought my coffee maker was dead, and so I did a little revival on it and ran some 50-50 mixed water and white vinegar through the tank just to see if I had any. A lot of times, if you develop some mineral buildup on the heating element, the water won't get as hot as it needs to be. And so after doing that and flushing it, it seemed to be, it's better, but it's right at the edge of not being hot enough. So the coffee came out all right this morning, but I think I'm going to have to break down and buy a new one. But I mean, they're about between $130 and $165 for a new Bunn coffee maker. But if they last you 10 years, that's pretty good. And the other thing good about Bunn coffee makers is they do have a 3-year replacement warranty. So, and they don't make you jump through hoops about registering and doing all that stuff. Every one of their machines has a serial number on it, which gives them the manufacturing date. And it's 3 years from that manufacturing date if you don't have a receipt for when you bought it. But if you do, and I mean, I've had them replace a couple of them because sometimes they fail. And if they do, they not only replace it, they pay all the shipping, and they don't make you send back the defective one. So if you're ever looking for a good Bunn coffee maker, you can, now they sell them on Amazon or Walmart, or you can actually buy them direct. And the price buying them direct is the same as if you were to buy them on Amazon or Walmart. That's the other thing that Bunn does, is they have a fixed price that they set at the manufacturer, and that's the price that it's sold everywhere. If you see anybody selling it for less than that, they're either taking less profit as a retailer, but Bunn they've been doing that for years. But anyway, so if you can afford it and you've never had a Bunn coffee maker before, it's a very good investment, and they make great coffee, and quickly too. You can make a 12-cup pot of coffee in about 3.5 minutes. And so nobody can make it. What? No. What's this? Morning, God. Morning, God, over here. Olivia Strickland. Hey, how's it going? Yes, I do remember you, Olivia. Thank you for joining us this morning. I appreciate you. That little heater blowing right in my face is a little warm. Yeah. So speaking of sports, I don't know if we got any football fans on this morning, but man, a couple of good games yesterday. The Texans, and they didn't do good at all yesterday. 4 interceptions during the game. They end up losing to New England, who played a good game. So, yep, New England's moving forward. And then the game that I was really watching last night was the Chicago Bears. And I want to tell you guys that game, well, I mean, I considered it bad weather. It was sleeting and snowing most of the game. And that was a good one. Went into overtime. I was rooting for the Chicago Bears. They were the only team left in the NFL playoff that, I would have liked to have seen them play in the Super Bowl. But they lost a heartbreaker, 17-20 in overtime, and it was a tough loss for the Chicago Bears. But they had a great season on the positive side. Probably one of the best seasons I've seen Chicago have in a while. But man, the fans there, I think some of the Chicago fans there are man, they're crazy. It reminded me of college football. I mean, they out there just freezing their heinies off, and they gave a lot of good support. I was too busy watching. Oh my God, this is MLK Day. Come on, man. I was too busy watching Debbie Does Texas. Oh man. That's a little crazy. Yeah. So, looks like Buffalo's gonna play. You did see where who was that? Is it Denver? Yeah. Denver's quarterback in the playoff game. I didn't even realize it until they mentioned it this morning. Is out for the season with a broken ankle. So I don't know how that, Bo Nix, I don't know how that fares for the Denver Broncos in the playoffs. So we'll see. Another game coming up tonight is the college championship, national championship game tonight, 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central. It's going to be Miami and Indiana. And a lot of the predictions, believe it or not, Indiana's ranked number 1. They've got no losses this year. So they would set a new record. If they win tonight, it would be a completely perfect season. And that hasn't happened in 139 years, they were saying. So if you don't know who my pick is Indiana to win it all tonight. I do think they have a tough opponent. They've got to go to Florida and play Miami Hurricanes, and they're going to be the Miami Hurricanes have They're ranked number 10 in the college football rankings, but they have a pretty decent team. So I think Indiana being on the road makes it a little tougher. And I think that Miami has a good running game, but so does Indiana. And I think that for Indiana to win out, which I hope they do, they need to play a very good game and no turnovers. Turnovers will determine who wins that game. And so turnovers one, and I think the other thing would be time of possession. So if you can control the ball on offense and get some good long drives and control the clock, I think that's the team that you're going to see that's going to be successful tonight. So anyway, Gail Ann is a Broncos fan. Yeah, so Gail Ann, you saw Miami ain't going to run that ball against Indiana. I think Indiana's defense is pretty tough. I just hope that, they got one more good game, because that's who I want to win the college national championship is Indiana. I'm behind them 100%. That's who I'm rooting for. It's okay if you're rooting for Miami, because like I said, some of the sports, I don't know if any of you watch the sports shows on YouTube, but Josh Pate is he was an up and coming. I mean, I think he's made it, but he was a radio sports guy for a long time and started his own show, and now he's got some good sponsors, and but he's only on YouTube. He's not on the national TV scene, but he has a great show, and I really like the guy. And a lot of times he's correct, but he's been wrong too. And his pick is Miami. I'm still rooting for Indiana, and I hope he's wrong. And you're right, Gail Ann. I'm worried about the Broncos because Bo Nix, their quarterback, like I said, I just heard it this morning, came out that he broke his ankle, and I never saw him leave the field. So, he must have toughed it out that last play or two to end the game. But yeah, broken ankle and is out. So I haven't followed the Broncos like some of the other teams, so I'm not even sure who their backup quarterback is. But whoever it is, they're going to be going into a really tough situation in the NFL playoff part. So. Really, Josh is on ESPN now too? All right. And I thought I thought we had him on YouTube all to ourselves. Dang it. Now they're broadcasting on. Well, I think it's good because, he started out. I tell people this a lot, and if they don't follow Josh Pate, he started out in his own home doing broadcasts, and he kept sending tapes out, and that's how he got noticed. And so he's basically a nobody who's done really well, and so I always like to hear those success stories, so that I guess what I'm getting to is that anybody, if they have a passion and should follow that passion. And he has a passion for sports. I think he's good at it. And he started out of his house and did some local radio stuff and local TV news. I think he was a sportscaster, somebody told me. And so, I really like him, and I think he's got a great show. So. But if you don't have ESPN, like I said, you can watch him on YouTube. But now, if he's on ESPN, you can watch him there too. It's kind of a different show than College Game Day. I still like College Game Day. It's probably one of my favorites during football season. But when I'm away, that's once a week, and Josh Pate makes videos all week long. So, kind of keeping you up to date with stuff. So I really like his show. So if you're into college sports, he would be my go-to guy. Let's see what else. I was really wondering how many people were going to join this morning since it's MLK Day. Like I said, for years, MLK Day was just another work day for me, and then that changed just a couple of years ago. I think this is the second year where it's that one of the holidays that the company gave as a paid holiday. So there are a lot of people that are off today. So if you are working, and you live or work in a big city, traffic should be better, providing you're not driving through the snow or ice or fighting anything like that. Usually on federal holidays, the traffic's a little bit lighter. I think that, like I said, it was 32 here this morning, but I think the high today's supposed to be 69 and sunny. So I think it's going to be a pretty day. Yesterday was a pretty day here in Central Texas anyway. But like I said, we haven't really had much of a winter to speak of. I did work on the insulation project, insulating my garage door. I'm just about done, and I did shoot a video that I'll be posting. So yeah. Looky here, Nicole. She knows all about Josh Pate. Thank you for letting us know, Nicole. That's great. I can talk football with women, men. It doesn't matter to me. If you're a football fan, you're a football fan. And I know some girls that man, they know more about what's going on in the football world than some of the guys do. Yeah, he's a good guy, and recently got married too. I saw that, but that's good. JW joined. Well, Creed joined. Hey, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Olivia, what have you been up to over here on YouTube? I knew Kim would probably join this morning. Everybody had to. Hey, JW, how's it going, buddy? If you're new here, let me know where you're from. Don't forget to like, share, follow, subscribe, do all of those fun things. Invite your friends. Anyway, so there you go. Anybody got anything they want to talk about on Monday morning other than pretty good North Carolina native? All right. So JW, are you a Tar Heels fan? Talking about football. Tennessee, Ronald Hayes. Hey, Ronald, how's it going? Thank you for joining me this morning. I appreciate it. We're talking a little football, talking about some of the games that happened yesterday, all that fun stuff on Monday morning. Mondays, it seems like that's the day that everybody's kind of half asleep. You got a few. Try to get people to engage with me. Oh, good. Coffee's great. Forward to the okay, look. Yeah, me too. That game, like I was just telling everybody, at 7:30 Eastern time and 6:30 Central time. I will definitely be in front of the TV watching that game for sure. Mullen God, good morning. Mullen God keeps popping in and out, checking stuff out. YK Giddy Bitty. Tamil, how's it going? Good morning. How long did it take you? So, Nicole, that door, I'm pretty much finished with it. I've got 3 panels to put the insulation on, but and it'll be done. And I mean, that can be done in probably 10 minutes or so. But I wanted to show it as part of the video. So I didn't finish it on Saturday for a specific reason. But I can tell you, it ended up, so the insulation kit that I bought to insulate the garage door with the radiant barrier in their on their site advertised it that the panels were pre-cut to fit a 2-car garage door. And I can tell you they are not pre-cut at all. And so that added a huge amount of time. And if I would have had a 4x8 sheet of, plywood that I could have put on some sawhorses, it would have helped because of the length and, where I could have rolled it out and not had to adjust and do some different stuff for cutting. But, anytime so I was having to measure inside panels and get a good measurement on it and keep the cut straight, because they do send you the double stick tape, which helps. It's not on my garage door. I don't think it was necessary to use it, but it's cold now, and I was more concerned about how it's going to perform when it's 100+ degrees outside. So I went ahead and used the double stick tape, and they send you more than enough of that. And I was worried that the rolls weren't long enough, but after doing some calculations, they actually give you an additional probably 8 or 9 feet of solar insulating material per roll. So that was a plus. So they did good there. Just that they shouldn't advertise it as pre-cut panels, because I have the tools and I can, I was able to lay it out and cut each piece, and but it took me, I worked on it probably, I don't know, I started around 10:30 or so on Saturday, and I worked on it till like 5 or 5:30. So it took a few hours to do it. And of course, I was doing it by myself, and I was being careful that, all the cuts were exact and straight and all of that, because you don't have a lot of material if you make a mistake. But even, and initially I was a little irritated about, companies out there advertising that the product does one thing, and then when you get the product in your hand, it's nothing like they describe on their website. I personally consider that false advertising, and it's misleading to the customer, and companies should not do that. Now, knowing, because I've had an online business before, you can make a mistake, and I did send the company an email. I always do. I give them the opportunity to respond to, and maybe they will, maybe they won't. It really doesn't matter at this point, other than I probably wouldn't tell you to buy the kit from that company if they don't correct their description of what you're actually getting. And it's funny, I read a lot of the reviews, and I never heard nobody that reviewed it that had purchased those mentioned anything about the kits not being pre-cut like they are advertised. So I don't know if they accidentally shipped the wrong thing, But I double checked, what they stated to what I actually got, and it wasn't what they described. So yeah, but I got it going, and like I said, I'll probably post that video today. It turned out good, I thought. It just took me, if it was pre-cut, you might still have to make a few cuts. Like the one cut I had to make is the rolls were 21 inches wide, and that's just how they came. And the panels on my garage door, to make them fit properly, I had to cut an inch off of every panel I cut. And the other thing too is that on my garage door, for some reason, and maybe this is very common with them, on the right side, the panels were 52 inches wide. On the left side, the panels were like 49 and a quarter inches wide. And the two sets of panels in the middle, they were actually the same. They were 45 inches wide. So kind of you would think that the two, if they were going to do it, the two outside panels would be the exact same width as just like the two inside panels, but that wasn't the case. And luckily I'd only cut one because I did the right side first, thinking that the left side was the exact same length. And, really wasn't that big a deal because all I had to do was shorten it some. But yeah. So yeah, other than that, it turned out good. It looks good. How much it's going to change the temp inside the garage, I can tell you it was, last night it was, in the 40s or whatever. And I turned the heaters on in here. This morning it was like 50 degrees inside the garage, and it was 32 outside. So, and then, I can turn space heaters on for a little bit, but it'll with the heaters on and the garage door closed, it'll bring the heat up into the 60s. So, which is comfortable. So we'll see. I really want to see how much difference it makes in the summer months. And I won't know because it's not summertime yet, but I think it was worth the $150 to insulate it. Chicken Mama, good morning. Cluck, cluck. Having some coffee, looking for the Hoosier. Yeah. All right. Hey, Roland, where are you from? Are you from Indiana? Are you rooting for, yeah. Morning. Morning, God. What's the temp where you're at? Is it like 3 degrees and snowing, or? Yeah, absolutely. That's following the waterfalls. Morning from Charleston, South Carolina. Thank you for joining us this morning. We don't have very many people from South Carolina joining us. I don't know why. Maybe they don't get up quite that early, or maybe they just not very many people in South Carolina that have followed or saw any of the videos or stuff. But share the live with them. We welcome everybody. Come join us. And I didn't know how many people were actually going to join this morning, just mainly because it's MLK Day. Doe Free 8. There, okay. I forgot you are from South Carolina. Maybe you told me that. And military brat. Okay. All right. Deb O'Brien, 7488. Hello, brother. All the way from the big state of Georgia. How's it going? So, Brian, tell me, who are you rooting for tonight? Miami or Indiana? Everybody that's on, let me know. Put something, just, Indiana or Miami in the comments. Let me know who you're pulling for tonight. Even if or maybe you don't have a team. Brew. What up? Justin King just joined. Hey, Justin. Indiana by 40. Ugh, I think it's going to be a lot closer game, unless there's some turnovers or if one team gets way ahead. Yeah, it could be. Hey, Brew, who do you think's going to win tonight? Indiana, Miami. Nicole is on the same side as me. I think Indiana. I hope Indiana pulls it out. Brew, thanks for the follow, man. I appreciate that. If it's your first time here and you don't follow, everybody that follows, as long as you're not a bot and you follow, I like to do the same on the backside. Smoking Reptile. Haven't watched football in years. You know, I have some friends that they are absolutely not football fans at all. I mean, they don't watch any of it. Not college, not pro, nothing. Matter of fact, they don't even like sports. And, maybe because I grew up and we always, my parents and grandparents, they were sports fans. And, of course, back then, the Dallas Cowboys, I mean, they're still big too, but they were big fans of the Dallas Cowboys. But that was before Jerry Jones bought them and ruined the team, as far as I'm concerned. Trevor, good morning. Yeah. So, Brew, are you off today? Everybody that's off today, give me the little thumbs up emoji in the comments. Give me the thumbs up emoji in the comments if you're off today. I like that angle, side. Good morning, Grandpa. Good morning, sweetie. How you doing? Going to work today. Yeah, that's me, Brew. MLK Day was a work day most of my career. Just recently they changed that, and nothing against MLK Day. I think it's it's a federal holiday, and I think there's a lot of things that came out good from that. But I'd like to have MLK Day and Christmas Eve for me personally. Yeah, Dofrey's he's retired like me. He's off every day. I was thinking about this last night at supper table where we were talking about, oh yeah, I got to get up and go to work tomorrow. And of course, I had to throw my 2 cents worth. I said, well, I'm retired, and so I don't have to go to work tomorrow. I do this though, and some other stuff on social media. So, but it's not like working. Can be work, Really, I'm still. I'm still trying to figure out this stinking Medicare stuff. Man, they make this stuff so confusing. No wonder that everybody and their dog claims they're an expert on, giving you guidance about getting your Medicare set up. Where I think they stick it to a lot of people, my opinion. Part A, the way the rules are written currently, when you turn 65, you have a window in which you have to file for Part A. You don't pay for Part A, but you have to file. And that's when you actually get your first Medicare card. Now, if you're still working, nothing happens. You just have it. And then when you actually retire, you file for Part B. And Part B, you do pay for. And it just went up this year. It's currently $203 a month. However, that doesn't cover everything. So then you have to decide if you're going to take a Medicare Advantage plan. And most of the Advantage plans, that's where the confusion jumps in. I don't know if it's confusing because of the way they present the packages. A lot of the Advantage plans are free. There's no additional charge. But what you have to look at is what the deductibles are. There could be deductibles for the drugs. There's deductibles going to the doctor, any major medical, and you could be out of pocket. I think the highest one I saw is like $8,300 annually. For some people that might not be a big deal, but I mean, just imagine if you had to go in the hospital one time and you hadn't met your deductible, you're paying the first $8,300 of that stay. Plus, that doesn't include that every one of those have a hospital daily rate, and usually the first 7 days are one rate, and then from day 7 on, there may or may not be a daily room charge. So there's a lot of different things, and so what you're trying to figure out is, do you take Medicare Part A, B, and then go find a drug plan and buy Medigap? That's one way to do it. And then that way you don't have to worry about picking doctors. If you go with an Advantage plan, you got to find out that if your doctor is in the plan you want to do, which is kind of like, insurance where you work. A lot of times if the company changes insurance companies or insurance plans, your doctor may or may not be in network. I've had that happen, where a current doctor go out of network because the company changed insurance. So you have that part of it. And then you have to decide, most of the Advantage plans have a zero premium. Some do have premiums. Most of them are HMOs. There are a few PPOs. The PPO plans are more like your traditional insurance that you get at work. And they cost, there's fees that go with that. And where they really stick it to you is your dental and vision. If you need, personally, I think everybody needs dental insurance because I go every 6 months for, cleaning and just maintenance. And for the most part, those Advantage plans take care of that. But a lot of the Advantage plans, if you really needed any kind of dental work, fillings, crowns, anything other than just a general cleaning and x-ray, it's not covered at all. None, zero. So you have no coverage there. There are 2 or 3 I've found that cover 50% of the cost with some limitations. So then it makes you think, well, do I need to go have a separate dental plan that I go buy on the open market? So yeah, I definitely tell you that when you retire, your insurance cost for health insurance is probably going to go up, unless, especially if you're middle income, and if you're lower income, there's programs and stuff to help offset some of that cost. But I don't know. I hadn't made the final decision yet, but I can tell you I've talked to 2 or 3 quote professionals, and I haven't found anybody, at least in this part of the country yet, that really has impressed me. I mean, the one thing that they've kind of all explained is like, do you want to pick insurance that your doctor's in network for? Well, yeah, no shit. We do that all the time. Or, and if you travel outside the U.S. a lot, maybe you got a lot of money and you like to travel, you don't want to have an Advantage plan, because a lot of those Advantage plans don't cover you outside the U.S. And so if something were to happen to you, it could be really expensive. If you go the other direction, You don't have to worry about your doctor being in network. You can go see any doctor or specialist that takes Medicare, and pretty much they all do. So you don't have to worry about that. But there's a premium that goes with that, and deductibles. If you can afford it, my direction would be get A, B, and then go get you a drug plan and go get you a Medigap, because Medigap basically covers any and all co-insurance and deductibles, but you pay for it. And if you can afford to pay for it, then you shouldn't have any worry about your medical costs. So, they talk about being in retirement, about what's most important about being in retirement. Well, yeah, you have to have the money to live on and pay, and that is important. But I can tell you one thing that I think is definitely important, and that's your health. How long can you stay healthy? If you're healthy, your insurance costs can be lower. If you're sick, if you have a heart condition, there's all kinds of things that people have and deal with on a daily basis. Your insurance costs could be really expensive. So my vote is try to stay healthy as long as you can stay healthy. Get out and get a little exercise. I know a lot of times when you're working, by the time you've worked 8, 10, 12 hours and come home and taken care of the family and done all your stuff around the house, there's no time left to really get out and, take care of your own health, or at least there never was on my part. So I'm trying to retrain myself and get out and, just walk every day, just that one thing alone can make a lot of difference. And then, of course, try to eat healthy. And one thing I hadn't done, but I probably will do once I actually get on Medicare. Medicare has a program, not all of them, but some of their Advantage plans have something called Silver Sneakers, and it basically gives you a gym membership. Not that you had to have that, but for men and women, they recommend weight training. How about that? I've never really been much of a weightlifter. When I played sports, we did, but that was in high school. And since then, I find it extremely boring myself. So, but I guess some type of weightlifting regimen needs to be incorporated with your daily exercise, at least 2 or 3 times a day, is what I say. Original Medicare doesn't cover out of the country either. Oh, okay. So Kim says that doesn't cover you out of the country either. Well, that's not how they've presented it. But that's good to know, Kim. I just grew out of it when everybody was whining and crying and getting hit hard. Smoking Reptile said he used to be a football fan until everybody grew out of it, started whining about everybody getting hit too hard. Yeah. I get it. They've changed a few rules in football for the protection of the players, and I kind of understand. You hate to see somebody playing a sport and walk away with a permanent head injury. I don't want that to happen. It's because I ain't going out there getting hit. But yeah, exactly. Yeah, you go out there, and you see some of those hits, they're violent. Yeah. Like I said, I played football and some college football a long time ago, but I can tell you, you can get your bell rung pretty quick. And I can't even imagine like some of the guys at the NFL level. You see some of those defensive backs come across there and blindside some poor guy. And then they bounce their head off of the ground, and it's usually not ground. It's like concrete or something with artificial turf on top of it. So yeah, you can get a concussion pretty quick, a bad one. that have long-term effects on your behavior and everything else you do. So there you go. That's where I'm at in the Medicare scene. I'm trying to figure out what to choose. I haven't made a decision just yet. But I can tell you that it seems like if you're healthy and and of course, all of us get in our late 60s, most of us are taking some type of maintenance drug of some kind. I guess I'm fortunate that all of mine are tier 1 generic. So the cost, even if I had to pay for them out of pocket, probably wouldn't cost me $100 a month with no insurance. So there, but if you have a major condition like heart disease and different medications for different ailments, some of those medications can be, lots and lots and lots of money a month. So that would definitely change your thing. So here I got a question for you Connie B, hey, how's it going? Nobody really likes to talk about or think about our income taxes this year. Does anybody I don't think they're going to actually process any income tax returns till January 28th. So like a couple weeks or so. But let me know, are you one of those type people do you file your taxes early? Or do you wait until April and then file your taxes? I'm kind of I don't usually wait till the last minute, like April the 15th, but I surely don't do it in the first week or so. I have a couple of granddaughters, and they're already they're like, hey, let's get my income tax filed, and I was like, well, I think it's a little early, and they're like, no, let's go ahead and get it done. I was like, but yeah, so I had to look it up and show them that, hey, we can't file your income tax until this date, but different things. So I'm not hearing anybody this. Maybe nobody online pay taxes. That's funny. Yeah, no, we all pay taxes. So you either are an early filer or you are not. Yes or no? That's pretty easy. Put that down in the comments to let me know if you're still there listening. And then I have some other tax questions for you. Hey, so what was that? What is it? That's only two things in life guarantee: pay taxes and die. Boy, Nicole, you got that right. You hit that nail right on the head with a big old hammer. Yeah, the standard deduction went up this year, so that should help us some. And if you're 65 or older, that up to a $6,000 credit, and that's all predicated on your income. So I think that could be good. And then you have the what do y'all think about all these waiters and everybody that makes tips not having to pay taxes on tips? Kim is the perfect person to ask because she's been a restaurant manager. She's waited tables, so she knows what it's like living on tips in that work. She hadn't had to do that in a while, but in her younger days, she waited tables and ran restaurants, and so she knows about tipping. And I mean, I just can't imagine that this type of tax, not having to pay tax on your tips could really be. But I think that's a good thing for those people. But here's here's what I really think. It kind of irritates me. And I don't know how it is in other states, but I can tell you how it is in Texas. Texas Reflections, good morning. In Texas, there's an association called the Texas Restaurant Association, and they're big, and they got a lot of clout. And that's why waiters and waitresses in the state of Texas are still paid $2.30 an hour, same thing they were paid 25, 30, 40 years ago. And I mean, that's just ridiculous. And so restaurant owners depend on their patrons to pay their employees, which, I mean, in any business that you do business with, you're paying for employees. I just think that, they should, if you want to be a waiter and you're going to earn tips, I think that at the bare minimum, restaurants should be held to the same standard as any other business in the state of Texas. And we have a minimum wage law, and that should apply to the restaurants. And everybody says, well, that'll just drive the cost of going to a restaurant up. Well, maybe it will, or maybe the restaurant owners just won't make all the money. They'll have to actually share it with the people who do the work. What a unique concept. And I always hear that, people who own restaurants don't make any money. Well, I would argue that point, because I would say if the restaurant business wasn't a profitable business, then tell me why there's a restaurant on every corner. Usually 4 or 5. They're everywhere. That's all I'm asking. If it's such a terrible business to be in, why are all these people in the restaurant business? And that's independents, chains, all of them. I mean, there's restaurants everywhere. There's restaurants because it is a profitable business. They just don't, they would like for you to think that it's not, but I really think it is. I've never actually run a restaurant and seen the P&L or anything like that, but I don't know. Kim, you got any insight on that? Kim's managed some restaurants here in Texas. Just wait to see if she's awake. Maybe she had to go get herself another cup of coffee. So anyway, there's a few things there that I think are probably good this tax year. I hope that we, the standard deduction went up, so that's good. I don't have any children, so the child tax credit doesn't really do anything for me personally. But the seniors tax relief, that does benefit me some. So we'll see how much. I don't know. I like that, Nicole. Yeah, there's 3 sports bars, and I think bars. I have Leanne. I think bars definitely are profitable, because there's been, there's bars everywhere, and now you see in bar and restaurant type outlets. But yeah, so if restaurants aren't profitable, then my question is why are they on every corner? I think they are profitable. I think they're a lot more profitable than people realize. I've heard people say that restaurant owners operate on a 5% profit margin, and I just don't believe that. You'd have to show me. Anyway, so there we are on taxes. It didn't look like anybody really wanted to jump in on that one. So one last subject that I was going to bring up today is, what do y'all think about all the rioting continuing in Minnesota? And I know they've had over the ICE incident, but I mean, is the news just showing Minnesota? And I've seen some protests in other states, but nothing like what's going on in Minnesota. I mean, they're talking about bringing in the National Guard because these people are just acting like fools. So what's your opinion on that? What do you think about that? Oh, well, it looks like Kim, when she was running a restaurant, it looks like all the numbers were turned into their corporate office. So she never actually got to see the P&L statement. Lisa Fall, thank you for joining. Hey, so yeah, anybody got any opinion on that? On the all the rioting going on in Minnesota? And then I'm hearing stuff about, you know, you hear so much noise on the media. Yeah, you're right. My wife asked me a question the other day because sometimes, unfortunately, she gets wrapped up in what she hears on the TV stations. And for the most part, she's like me. She's conservative, and she voted for Trump just like I did. But she sees all that stuff and she hears it on the news I guess because she pays closer attention to it than I do. But I'm just like, I wonder how many of these radical groups they've actually sent. Hang on, let me do my little maintenance here for TikTok so that TikTok doesn't think I'm a bot. Exactly, Dofer, you're right. And I agree. I mean, I'm not saying that you can't protest. Sure, you can protest. I mean, there's been some protests here about different things, but they're not running out in the street. Well, let me take that back. A while back, these idiots came to Austin and blocked I-35, and then the liberal retards of Austin, Texas, they don't even stand behind their police officers who were trying to keep from being overtaken, and they're worried that they shot people with beanbags, and that people were hurt in the rioting. And I would have said, stay home, and you would have been okay. But no, kind of what's going on now. There's always got to be somebody who want to hold up, shoot a video. Do you think it's safe to shut down an interstate by getting out on the highway? I called some 18-wheelers because they go up and down 35 all the time and said, hammer down. They're in the road. They're idiots. But that's not what they did. And I mean, every one of those people that were out there should have been arrested and charged. Were they? No. So yeah, you can protest, but you can't protest and throw rocks or water or frozen water bottles or block Interstate 35 or any major intersection like they do. I mean, that's not peaceful. And then you want to complain about what you get by acting that way? I'm like, really? Like, you thought that they were just going to let you get out there and act like a fool and there were going to be no repercussions? Maybe that's because we don't corporal punish our children anymore. Not that I do it either, but I don't know. People sometimes think that, the laws and things don't apply to them, but they do. And anytime you think it doesn't apply to you, just test it. You'll find out. But yeah, so I don't know why these radical groups continue on, and I think it's very distracting to the general public, and people really don't want to see that going on. And so I fault media in general, especially the big three, because it's on the TV all day long. I mean, it's just over and over and over because they want ratings, so you watch them on TV, and they don't care about all the damage that it does and getting people riled up because of whatever reason they do that for. I don't know. What does it say? It's sad they act like little kids. Yeah, it is sad that they act like little kids. Well, no, you're so Anton on YouTube. People, he states, people like you think it don't apply to you January 6th. No, I think that was terrible. Uh, I don't agree with that behavior at all. Zero. And but again, that's people just like the people in Minnesota right now. I'm in Minneapolis right now, acting like fools. I think you can protest without being destructive. And I'm like, there's lots of ways that you can get your point across or let people know that you don't like something that's going on without being out there acting like a fool, damaging other people's property, your property, the general public, making a fool on the steps of the White House. No, I don't think that is not good behavior. So if you think that that's what I'm talking about, you're wrong. So there you go. That's my 2 cents worth. But anyway, so there we go. I think there are a few tax things that are probably hopefully let you pay less taxes this year. I'd like to see income tax go to a flat tax, no deductions, and no more tax returns, no more IRS, none of that. And everybody just play a flat whatever, 10% and be done with it. And I mean, our employers are already the tax collectors, so I guess they could just take that 10% and be done. But everybody would have to pay. No deductions, not for anyone. If you don't make very much money, you don't pay much money. If you make a lot of money, you pay a lot of money. And that would make everybody happier, I think, if everybody had to pay the same tax rate and there were no deductions. Because then the people who are making billions and billions of dollars, they'd probably have to pay more taxes, no doubt. Because 10% of $25 billion is a lot more than 10% of $25,000. So there you go on that. So thank you, everybody, for joining me here on MLK Day. Did anybody have anything to say about MLK Day? Anything at all? It would be better. Yeah, I agree. If everybody, I think it would be better for everybody if we just had a flat tax and be done with it. Firehouse, what up? But anyway, it is 7:06 a.m. Usually, sometimes I go to 7:30, but I've done the majority of the talking today, it seems like. And it is a federal holiday. And if you do have to go to work, it's probably about that time that everybody has to head that direction or get ready to head that direction. Yeah, I agree, Nicole. I don't think throwing stuff at the police officers that are just out there doing what they get paid to do. And they all have families and children and they want to go home and be safe. So yeah, for sure. Anyway, that's all I have for you here on Monday on MLK Day. If you're off, if you're a federal worker, if you're off, you're probably in bed asleep. So I'm assuming that everybody that joined the live, thank you very much. I continue to tell everyone, that without all of you, this would not be possible at all. And I wouldn't be doing it. But thank you for the continued support. Thank you for joining me early in the morning and having our first cup of coffee together. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Go do something kind today. Hopefully it's not protesting in the streets. Sorry, I had to throw that in there. And enjoy your MLK Day if you do have that day off, and maybe you were just up early. And so I really thank you if this is a day off and you got up early just to join the live. That's dedication, and I appreciate that. So everybody have a great day. I will get that video posted on the insulating of the garage door. I should have that finished today. And go, like I said, go do something kind today. You never know what a kind act will do for someone. Anyway, thank you very much for joining. I'll be back here in the morning, 6 a.m., morning coffee talk with Dave. Have a wonderful federal holiday or a day at work. And I will see everyone tomorrow. Thank you, thank you, thank you.